In this video, we're bringing you a comprehensive overview of the UK's most significant immigration policy reforms in years set to roll out from July 22, 2025. The UK government has released an official statement of changes to the immigration rules, ushering in the first wave of implementation from its much-anticipated immigration white paper. These updates are not just routine revisions, they represent a fundamental reworking of how the UK handles long-term migration, with clear goals to stimulate economic growth, reduce net migration, and lessen the country's dependency on overseas labor, particularly in lower-skilled job sectors. Whether you're planning to apply for a UK visa, are an existing migrant worker, an employer who sponsors foreign employees, or simply someone following the trajectory of UK immigration policy, this breakdown is for you. We'll explore exactly what's changing, how these changes will affect different groups, and what preparations need to be made to avoid disruption. Let's begin with one of the most critical areas of reform, the skilled worker visa route, which lies at the heart of the UK's points-based immigration system. From July 22, 2025, the government is set to raise the bar for which occupations qualify under the skilled worker visa route. The minimum skills threshold will rise significantly from RQF Level 3, equivalent to UK levels, to RQF Level 6, which aligns with a bachelor's degree level qualification. This change is not just administrative, it will reshape which types of workers can qualify for sponsorship. In practical terms, this means that roles previously considered eligible under RQF Level 3 will no longer meet the standard, cutting off roughly 180 job types from the eligible list. Industries that have long relied on semi-skilled labor from overseas, such as hospitality, warehousing and logistics, construction, and parts of the health and social care sector, will be heavily impacted. Employers in these sectors may struggle to fill vacancies unless they invest more in local recruitment or upskill their workforce. However, for individuals already present in the UK on a skilled worker visa, there is some relief. Transitional measures will allow those with a valid certificate of sponsorship issued before July 22, 2025, to continue working in roles below the new RQF Level 6, and they will remain eligible to extend their visas, switch employers, or even take on supplementary work, provided they meet the appropriate salary thresholds. The next major development involves salary thresholds, which are also being raised in line with labor market trends and government policy objectives. Effective the same day, July 22, 2025, the general salary threshold for skilled worker applicants will climb from £38,700 to £41,700 per annum. This increase applies to all new visa applications and also to renewals submitted after that date. Unlike the skill level changes, no transitional period will be offered for salary thresholds, meaning applicants and sponsors need to adjust immediately to the new financial requirements. In parallel, individuals applying under the PhD discount route, that is, where their job role is directly aligned with their academic expertise, will see the reduced salary threshold rise from £34,830 to £37,500. These revised thresholds reflect findings from the Office for National Statistics ON's annual survey of hours and earnings, ensuring that sponsored workers are paid fairly in line with UK-based counterparts. That said, an important distinction remains for workers in the health and care visa category. Most applicants in this group will continue to be assessed against national pay scales, with the minimum salary floor remaining at £25,000 per year, or whatever their specific NHS or care band rate prescribes, whichever is higher. This ensures continuity and affordability for the public healthcare sector. One of the most transformative and controversial measures involves the closure of the overseas recruitment route for care workers and senior care workers. From July 22, 2025, employers will no longer be able to sponsor overseas applicants for adult social care positions under the health and care worker visa route. The government cites persistent reports of exploitation, abuse, and non-compliance in the sector as key reasons behind this toughened stance. This move is intended to force the industry to refocus on domestic recruitment, training, and better pay. However, for care workers who are already inside the UK, the door is not entirely closed. They will still be allowed to switch into care roles, but only until July 22nd, 2028, and under strict conditions. Most notably, the worker must have been in legal employment with the sponsoring employer for a minimum of 3 months before being assigned a certificate of sponsorship. This timeline and requirement are designed to prevent misuse of the system while allowing continuity for existing employees. To address the likely labor shortages created by the new skill and salary thresholds, the government is introducing a temporary shortage list (TSL). This list will include specific occupations that are essential to the UK economy and national infrastructure, especially those identified as strategically important within the government's industrial strategy. Even if these roles fall below the new RQF Level 6 threshold, they will still be allowed under temporary exemptions until the end of 2026. However, these concessions come with trade-offs. Workers coming to the UK under a TSL-designated occupation cannot bring dependents, and they are not eligible for visa fee discounts or salary reductions that were previously offered under the older shortage occupation list. In addition, the government has made it clear that the TSL is not a permanent solution. The Migration Advisory Committee (MAC) has been tasked with reviewing the list and will issue a formal report in spring 2026 for a role to remain on the TSL beyond that point. The corresponding sector must submit a credible plan to reduce reliance on migration and build domestic skill pipelines through training, apprenticeships, or other workforce development initiatives. Let's now shift focus to one of the most pivotal aspects of long-term immigration: the future of indefinite leave to remain, commonly known as ILR. For many migrants living and working in the UK, ILR represents the final step before achieving British citizenship, making it a milestone of great significance. As outlined in the UK government's white paper, several proposed reforms to the ILR framework are currently under review. Although these changes do not have a confirmed implementation date of July 22nd, 2025, they are firmly on the horizon and could shape future immigration pathways. Among the most debated proposals is the extension of the qualifying period for ILR from the current 5 years to 10 years for most migrants under the points-based immigration system, such as those on skilled worker visas. This change would also affect dependent family members, effectively doubling the wait time for thousands of people aspiring to settle permanently in the UK. Here is, however, a silver lining. The government has indicated that it may explore an earned settlement model. Under this approach, individuals who make substantial economic, social, or community contributions to the UK could potentially qualify for ILR sooner than the standard timeline. While the details remain under development, this model suggests a more merit-based route to settlement, rewarding those who actively contribute to British society. It's important to point out that these proposed changes do not currently apply to those on family visas, such as a spouse or partner visa, who would still be eligible for ILR after 5 years of continuous lawful residence. Before any of these ILR changes take effect, the government has committed to launching a formal consultation process, meaning stakeholders, including employers and immigration experts, will have the opportunity to provide feedback. We expect more concrete details to emerge later in the year, so staying updated is essential for anyone planning a long-term stay in the UK. Beyond ILR, there are several other updates coming into force that are worth noting. Beginning July 15th, 2025, the UK will phase out physical vignette stickers for visa applicants in routes such as skilled worker and global talent visas. Instead, the Home Office will issue digital visas, making the process more efficient and removing the need for multiple appointments at visa application centers or submitting passports for physical endorsements. In tandem with this shift, the UK is planning to raise the English language proficiency requirements across several visa routes. For instance, the skilled worker visa standard will move from B1 to B2 on the Common European Framework of Reference. For languages CEFR, applicants seeking settled status or permanent residence will also need to demonstrate language progression to B2. These changes reflect a broader aim to ensure that migrants are linguistically equipped to fully integrate and participate in British society and the workforce. Further financial measures are also in play. The immigration skills charge fee paid by employers who sponsor skilled foreign workers is set to rise by 32%, placing additional pressure on businesses that rely on overseas recruitment. Employers will need to budget accordingly and reevaluate whether current rules justify the increased sponsorship costs. Additionally, the graduate visa, currently offering a 2-year post-study work period, will be shortened to 18 months. This will reduce the time recent international graduates can remain in the UK to look for work or gain experience after completing their studies. These moves are part of the government's broader effort to create a system that prioritizes retention of high-skilled, economically valuable migrants, while encouraging faster transitions into long-term work visa routes or returning home. There is at least one positive development for EU nationals under the EU settlement scheme starting July 16, 2025. Those with pre-settled status will have greater flexibility when applying for settled status. Instead of the current requirement limiting absences to no more than 6 months in any 12-month period, applicants will now qualify if they've lived in the UK for at least 30 months within the last 60 months. This allows for more flexibility in travel and work abroad, especially for those whose lives span multiple countries, and reflects a more realistic understanding of modern mobility. With such sweeping changes ahead, the big question is, what should you do now? For employers, it's vital to act fast. If you have candidates lined up for sponsorship or existing staff due for visa renewals, issuing certificates of sponsorship costs before July 22, 2025 will ensure those applications are assessed under the current, more favorable criteria. Employers should also carefully audit their sponsored job roles to ensure they meet the new RQF Level 6 skill threshold and the updated salary requirements. For individuals, especially those planning to apply for a skilled worker visa or any route impacted by these changes, the advice is clear. Submit your application before the July 22nd deadline wherever possible. This could save you from higher costs, stricter eligibility rules, and longer settlement timelines. In summary, the UK is entering a new era of immigration reform beginning on July 22, 2025. With additional changes following throughout the year. From skills and salary thresholds to ILR timelines and visa processes, the entire landscape is evolving with the goal of building a more targeted, high-skilled migration system. While there are transitional protections in place, the road ahead will be more competitive and more selective. It's essential for both employers and applicants to stay informed, act quickly, and adapt accordingly. We'll continue to track these developments and provide you with timely updates as more details are released, especially regarding the ILR consultation later this year. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update on UK immigration policy. Got questions? Drop them in the comments below, and we'll do our best to guide you in the right direction. Until next time, stay informed, stay prepared, and stay ahead.